What's up, my friends? Welcome into the studio. I'm Andy. And as usual, we're going to talk about music and guitars. Today, specifically, we're going to talk about, I was going to say faking your way through solos. That's not right. Cheat codes. It's like cheat codes for solos. It seems like I always end up talking to somebody when I'm streaming. If I do like a lot of improv in a given night, that tone. But I'll be talking about, they'll be like, whoa, man, you're soloing. Oh my God. And I go, it's all improv. I don't know what I'm doing. It's terrible. What are you talking about? And they're like, no, dude, I don't understand that at all. So, and then I inevitably end up explaining away all my secrets, So there's kind of like cheat codes and stuff, and we're going to talk about that today. What I might consider cheat codes and how I use that stuff to get me through sets when I'm live and I'm improvising and stuff like that. And then, also it really helps. It has everything to do with writing solos. I wrote a solo yesterday, and we'll talk about that solo a little bit. And it's good. It's cool. I like writing solos, and of course I've talked about this before, pushing it to the edge. And if you've been around here before, I write solos and play solos for like TV shows and stuff, cartoons. Stuff that you've definitely heard of. I'm not going to get into all that now. But I use a lot of this stuff, it all ties together. So what we'll talk about, in the improv in terms of cheat codes, more or less, the things that you fall on, the little crutches, you could say. It also comes out in writing. But in writing, when you're writing solos, you get to push. You get to push yourself right to the edge. So like I said, I'll talk about the solo that I did yesterday, and we'll look at how, because I still remember how I started it and how I actually restructured it so I could play it and it would work. But in the meantime, I gotta just mention, dude, so my wife comes at me the other day and she's like, check out this song. It's from this artist called JAX. And they've got this, this funny, quirky song about Victoria's Secret, right? And she plays a bit, and it's like, oh yeah, that's super cool and funny. But holy crap, this recording sounds so good. Their production is absolutely amazing. Your song's typical song. I just figured it out, so I'm sitting here out of my head. It's that basic, but it sounds so good. So check out a little bit of this vocal. I don't want to share revenue because I'm greedy, so I'm just going to play a little bit of it. Check out Victoria's Secret by JAX, and you can hear how good this is a goal. If you want to have something to reference good vocals from, which I just did yesterday, mixing a track for a female, and this is a good goal to have. Listen to how good this vocal sounds.
Photoshop itty bitty models on magazine covers. Told me I was overweight. All bodies aren't the same. Photoshop itty bitty models on magazine.
So good. Roll that back, play it again and again. Go check out the track, whatever you want. But you'll see when you listen to this track, first of all, it's a great performance. You can't get around the great performance. If you don't have a great performance, it's hard to do much else with a thing. But so there you have great performance. She's obviously singing into, I don't know what this person looks like or anything about them. They're obviously singing into a really good microphone or a really good microphone model, because you can hear there's a little bit of the tone and timbre of that mic is coming through, I want to say. And then the rest of everything is so clean and good. And then the space that vocal sits in, oh my God, dude. Give me a break. So go and listen to that. I want to know what you think about this. Let me know. Drop some comments. If you think if a better vocal sound, like when there's nothing going on, because that part of that track, there's just like one little keyboardy kind of a thing bopping around, and it's mostly a vocal, and it just, that is one good vocal. So drop it down there if you know what's better. Show me something just as good, because I just like listening to stuff that sounds fantastic. Right, so onward. One more thing we'll talk about when we get into this video stuff. We'll get into this solo stuff. Our boy Rick Beato dropped another one of those top 10 things off Spotify, the Spotify like top 10 lists, the other day, and I checked that out a little bit. He pretty much, I think, was, a little let down. He's an older guy, I'm an older guy too, and a little let down, I guess, by the quality of the songs. And I would have to agree, there's just not a lot going on there musically. And so it kind of reminded me of, like, it's just looping, basically. Like, since I stream, I'm familiar with a lot of people that like loop and do live looping and stuff like that. And that's a whole thing that's, it's cool and fun. I don't particularly enjoy it that much. It's its own thing. If I'm going to do some looping, it's generally going to be like an improv looping thing. I very much enjoy that, turning on strange sounds and just building up a jam. Having Ableton as my looper lets me have an A part and a B part to those loops, because initially back in the day, you can probably relate, like, it was just too much of the same damn thing over and over and over forever. And then you'd have to get so creative if you wanted to turn your single loop of a bunch of things into different things. Now, I think the world's kind of come along in terms of there's a lot of good songs now that, they're just great, and they're just a loop. It's just the same loop, and things change, are added and subtracted to that one loop for the entire song. I've written songs this year that kind of are like that. So, in that respect, well, I should say, so the songs that Beato was like getting pissy about, he wasn't getting pissy about, but that he pointed out, that were definitely like more of a loop, 3 chords and just that over and over with some changes. They didn't really have, his point was like, where's the change? Where's the dynamics? Where's the, the highs and the lows? Where, like verse, chorus, bridge type stuff, the general parts of songs that help to, bring along the emotion and just take things places. I would really agree that none of that stuff was really there. And so, a little bit here and there, but it's just not the same, I guess. And so, I guess what I'm wondering, my question to you is, do you find music? Because I don't know. I'm like, what's my answer to this question? Do you find music that's like just a single loop of something? Like pick your modern anything off the top 10 of Spotify's whatever general top 10. Do you like that as much as you like like older music, like say like Toto, or like anything that has like a whole lot of chord changes? It's like some of these old songs from the 70s and 80s, and all generations have them, but there was a lot more back then, where the song doesn't have like 4 chords that loop again and again. In the verse, it might have 7. It might do this whole thing where it steps all around. Like in Back to the Thing, and then they'll have an intro to the chorus that just goes something really different, and then they're in the chorus, which again is something different. And all these things, of course, are build a song and a story and emotion and all these things. But what do you think, like that versus Song for Zula? Look up Phosphorescent Song for Zula. I do. I probably have it on my channel because I do that. I cover that on my Twitch stream. Which I think, between all the instruments that I bring in and out of that set, and even though it's all like one loop, it's very dynamic. And so, is that as good? Is that as fulfilling? Is that as enjoyable as music that's written, that's much more complicated, I guess you could say. Does it depend on if you are someone who grasps complicated music? I don't know. Like look at Tori Amos' Little Earthquakes, right? Probably any of her music, but I was super into that album when it came out eons ago. But it's such, you want like chord changes and stuff, dude. Like, oh my God, like a verse or a chorus that takes you places and stuff, like a song that is just all over the map with the musically, as opposed to 3 chords, constantly doing a thing, or 4 chords. So I don't know. I'm just curious. I definitely prefer more interesting music. But all the same, like I said, that song for Zula, I guess it's what you do with it, Sometimes the loop jam is intense, and then you could ask, where does like Grateful Dead fit into all that? Because certainly they invented looping, right? Didn't they? I don't know. But so let's get to the goods here, shall we? So soloing. What is on? Let's have a peek over at Raven. Let's see what's on. I've got my little chatting file up. So I think the last time I messed with this, I was dropping in loops. Check the description for the big ass guitars loop packs. They're at my website, alwaysandy.co. $35 gets you, oh my God, ridiculous number of loops. So here's some of them. Oh yeah, they were fucking plasma stuff. Okay, so you can see quite clearly how easy the stuff I'm doing. So let's give a quick cheat code, I guess, in delivery. So like, this is in, what is this? A. Pretty simple, A to D to A. So it probably should be said that I'm not a schooled musician, as in I just explained to you all of my musical knowledge, right? A, D, I know the chords and stuff, but I don't really know scales per se, like what they are. What I do is I find the notes that are like, I always call it in play and out of play. The good ones and the bad ones, right? Or just like what my general area of operation will be in a certain thing. So while I'm figuring that out, I'm going to be doing like something, right? You don't want to just be like finding notes, because that's not very entertaining. It's not very fun for you either. So, but we know we're in A. Just start somewhere. There's your first cheat, right? So a lot of times in a lot of songs we can do the pentatonic thing, and that's what that I just did right here. We got, it's that old Johnny B. Good stuff. If you don't know what that is, look it up. You're too young. It's like a blues thing, you can do that all day long. So you've already got one cheat thing going on. While you're there, you can do something like flashy, just because it's easy, right? So you can tell I've just jumped up the scale some, or up the neck some. So I know I'm here. We found that one's gonna work, right? So what did we do? We did a little flashy flash, and when we got done, we went up. So I just want to find what's my next set of things that I can toy around. I know that's here. It's on, starts on the 2nd fret. And it's the pentatonic thing. It's this. And this is A and not F sharp. So your roots are really. So we go on up. We know we got. So that to me, that's like one of those odd positions, more odd, I guess, than the others, because it's like, it's goofy, right? Like disjointed. So we go from 5, 7, 4, 7. And then you got 2, 4, 7, 4, 7, 4, 7, 4, 6, 5, 7. It's weird. Compared to like this. That's stupid simple. But you do have that. And that, right? So, hello, cheat codes. You can do cool stuff. Find out the 3rd note. And, you know, I naturally kind of go to that because I've been doing this for a while, but that would be a bad note. Sometimes when you're doing this part of like working your way into an improv thing, you might hit a bad note. Laugh it off. Point it out. Whoops. You know, and even like it didn't sound that bad. Play it off. Play through it. But so you can always do hammer-ons and pull-offs through that. People get excited when you start going faster and faster and faster, you know? If you add a note. So we figured out a little more. Once you know, like the main, this, whoops. Then you got it. Well, there's other notes to go in there too, right? So we'll do add that one, and that's just feel, right? How I'm picking that out, it's just feel. I know we got this. There's going to be 2 notes that I can add in here. You can just feel it's a whole step or a half step. You know, practice that. The more you do it, the more you'll feel it. I just feel it. And cheating, I already knew what those high ones going up a whole step. So that's the hard part of this position, is the last part. And so we learn all of those notes and kind of lock those in so that we can do a fast bit. So you can see again, what did I do? I got comfortable in that position. I came down and I changed position on the way up, right? I went. I didn't know where I was going. It was just like, you feel it a little bit. And I did know subconsciously that was like that, so these are gonna be like that. This one, you kind of got to come out down like that, which makes that stretch. This one. So we've got like 3 scales that we've figured out like really fast. I've talked all the way through it, so but that's all gonna happen pretty fast. You got that one. That one. That feels very pentatonic. So you got like that same thing that we started with on the 5th fret, because it's A, right? So you've got the alternate, and you got the main. And so once you know, you're like, okay, cool. We got the blues thing going on there, that pentatonic blues thing. That throws you all kind of notes in play, right? You can go all day just on that. And so, I mean, we're still working our way up the fretboard, right? So I'm just going to keep going. You know how I'm doing it, and see if you can follow along with what I'm getting at. Octave. So from here up, everything's repeating already. So you get the idea. That's like pretty much all of it, right? So you find a spot, you get busy, you start picking out your notes, and I'm like cheat codes feels wrong, right? Now that we've been through it, it's like, is it really cheat codes? But like those are my cheat codes. So like I said, I'll talk about how it relates to me, in hopes that you can then figure out how it relates to you. But for me, like I was kind of hinting at a couple of those spots, like I know I can make cool things happen with those 4 notes. Like any kind of stuff around there. Any legato little but those are fun, and easy. Same with anytime you figure out, like, I've got that little spot locked in, then you can do a little play thing. Usually for me, once I spit out a little thing that says, hey, I'm cool, then I go, it's like I believe it. I'm like, oh, hey, I'm cool. And then I'm like, oh, cool. And then I play well for a while until I screw up, and then I have to do something cool again. And I go, oh, hey, I'm cool. All right. And then I'm good for a while again. But that's how our brains work, We need those little bits sometimes to tell us, like, hey, don't forget, you're going to play. You're having fun. People are enjoying themselves. So that's improv. Now, improv versus writing are 2 totally different things. People usually, a lot of people will say like, dude, I can't tell. I didn't know that that wasn't a written thing, you know, that you're doing. Because if you think about, I'm sorry, my throat is like a bit jacked up. I don't know what's up with the allergies lately, but so I don't know, between like writing and improv, I try and do the things. Like, I try and think about a real solo when I'm improvising, because that's the goal, right? To improv as solo, just as you would do it. And honestly, when I'm writing solos, I'm improvising a thing over and over, you know, and liking what I'm doing in one section, and then keeping that, and then moving on, and then liking that, and keeping that, and moving on until you're kind of through an entire solo. And it's all doing the things that you want it to do. But so, this solo yesterday, let's see. Let me find it here. I can't play the actual song because the artist wouldn't appreciate that. But I can play this little bit. Oh yeah. So like, it's really not much. It's like I come down onto a legato thing and land on a note. So yeah. Yep, just a little. So you have a note to end on. So in that phrase, I knew where I was starting and I knew where I was ending. And what I did in the middle had to get worked out over, 10 or 15 tries maybe. So we end up with. And then it goes. There's not a lot going on there. And then we got to run up to the top, right? So you've got really two runs. You go. So we got run, and then we move our hand up, and then we have like another run. So we've got. Right? It's like I'm trying to keep that focus. Keep the camera focused. Quit, dude. It just keeps going back and forth. I'm like watching it. In, out, in, out. But so, regardless, we're going to go. You can hear the notes. Then I switch position on the G string and go. Right? So it'll go. And then the last two strings, you go. And I do that a lot, right? You'll find that sounds like pretty cool, kind of a lot of times. When you've got like a little more time than you need, like an extra count or two, right? You can just hit a run twice and it sounds cool. There's one of my secrets, right? I do that all the time. So you end up with a run that goes. And that way, it times out correctly. Once again. Not so sloppy. And that's the run. So put them all together and you've got the solo. And the solo, like I said, it's born in the improv. It's born in the improv for sure, because I always start there just improving. And the difference when you're writing is that you then start doing that thing again and again. So you find the things that you like, and then little by little, and it doesn't always go from start to finish. Sometimes you figure out the part you want to end with first, but for me usually it's kind of works its way. It just gets bigger and bigger. The parts that's like solid and stuck, you just keep until the whole thing's there, and boom. So in any event, that's probably a good place to stop. Dong, dong, dong. That's a good place to stop. Thanks for coming through and for hanging out. Let's wrap this on up. I started this today with the that was the stream opener. If you watch that and you're still watching this now, yeah, that was how I opened the stream. I was just like, you know what, we'll just start pressing that button when I start making these videos, when they kick off, right? So then we'll press the outro on this one. I probably won't do that often, but you guys rock your day. Thanks for hanging out. You know, press the buttons. Do all this shit. I know. Everybody's like, do. Press the buttons. Help me out. Jesus. Be kind. Cheers. Here's the outro. I'm like, I don't have a button for it. That's right. I don't think I do have a button for it because I run it so rarely. We're always rating. Thank you for watching my stream.